Unit 3.1. How did the rise of extremism affect international relations? Key terms: shares, a means of investing money in businesses. Shares in a successful business rise in value. Investors aim to buy shares at low prices and then sell them when the value rises. Unemployment benefit, payments made by a state to people who are unable to find a job. Deflation, a general decline in prices caused by a reduction in the supply of money and credit. Stormtroopers, Nazi gangs that specifically used violence against Hitler's opponents. Third Reich, the term used by Hitler that linked the present with Germany's past glories. The First Reich was the Holy Roman Empire. The Second Reich followed the unification of Germany in 1871 and lasted until 1918. Totalitarian, a system of government that is centralized, dictatorial, and requires complete subservience to the state. Propaganda, the communication of a political or other message by appealing to people's emotions rather than their reason, encouraging them to be excited rather than to think. Constitutional monarchy, a monarchy in which the king or queen is the head of state, with powers limited by a written constitution or by an established political method or series of conventions, as in Britain. Civil war, a war between citizens of the same country. Conscription, compulsory military service for certain groups of society, such as men between certain ages. Appeasement, a policy of giving into, rather than confronting, demands made by aggressive nations. The impact of the Great Depression. The rise of extremism in the 1930s had a major effect on international relations and made the world less stable. This change was closely linked to the Great Depression, which began after the Wall Street crash in 1929. The global economy fell apart, trade between countries dropped, and millions of people lost their jobs. Many people began to lose trust in democratic governments because they seemed unable to fix these problems. As a result, more people turned to extreme political ideas that promised strong leadership and quick solutions. Germany and the rise of Nazism. Germany was hit especially hard by the Depression. Its economy depended on loans from the United States, and when these loans stopped, businesses failed and unemployment rose sharply. This created anger and frustration among the people. Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party used this situation to gain support. They promised to rebuild Germany, create jobs, and undo the Treaty of Versailles. In 1933, Hitler became chancellor and quickly took full control of the country. He removed the opposition, controlled the media, and began to expand Germany's power. Stalin and the Soviet Union. In the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin also ruled in an extreme way. By 1930, he had become a powerful dictator. He controlled the government and forced major changes in farming and industry. These changes were strict and often harsh. The Soviet Union was mostly cut off from other countries, but its communist system created tension with countries that feared his ideas, especially those with fascist governments. Fascism in Italy and militarism in Japan. Italy, led by Benito Mussolini, was the first country in Europe to become fascist. Mussolini promoted strong leadership, nationalism, and military strength. Japan also became more controlled by its military leaders during the time. These leaders believed in expanding their country's power and land, especially in Asia. Both Italy and Japan followed aggressive foreign policies. The spread of dictatorships and rising tensions. By the early 1930s, several powerful countries were ruled by dictators, including Germany, Italy, and the Soviet Union and Japan. These governments used force, censorship, and propaganda to stay in control. They also focused on expanding their power, which increased tension between countries and made cooperation more difficult. The Spanish Civil War as a warning sign. The Spanish Civil War showed how divided Europe had become. Different countries supported different ideas based on their political beliefs. Germany and Italy supported the nationalists, while the Soviet Union supported the Republicans. Britain and France stayed out of the war. This conflict acted as a warning sign to a larger war to come. Overall impact on international relations. Overall, the rise of extremism made countries less willing to work together and more focused on their own goals. This increased tension and made another major war more likely.